Hi folks, this is a video to help you with lesson 4.4, transformations of linear functions. This is a tough lesson because it has a lot more notations with it and some new vocabulary with it. So I'm going to suggest you watch this video very slowly, still go through the launch, but watch this video very slowly and take lots of notes, almost exactly like what I have, put it in your notebook. So the first thing we're going to look at is, please realize this is function notation, and so g of x, this is said to be g of x, g of x. That's the same thing as y. So we are using this y, or g of x equals x. That is your parent function. That's what we're comparing them back to. And basically what that is this line, y equals x. It's a diagonal line straight through 0, 0, and we're looking to see how we're moving it. We're moving it up, down, steeper, flatter. It all goes back to the y equals x. So the first set here, and if you want to pause now and copy this section, we're going to be talking about a vertical translation. So for vertical, that means we're going to move up or down. So for this one, -2 means you move that line down 2 places. And this +3 means you move up 3 places. Notice here that for vertical translations, the constant is not grouped with the x, meaning they're not in parentheses grouped together like they are in the next section. So when it is not grouped together, that's a vertical translation moving up or down. This is similar to your y equals mx plus b that you're used to, and just moving it up and down for your y-intercept changes. Then we have something different. This is a horizontal translation. Again, now would be a good time to pause to get this section copied for horizontal. So this, for horizontal, notice that the constant, the number, is grouped with the x. And when I mean grouped, that means it has a set of parentheses to group them together. When that happens, you have a horizontal change, meaning it moves left or right. So this horizontal change, you would think would be, this is left or right. This one is up or down. You would think +5 would be right, but since it's in parentheses, it's actually the opposite. So this one moves left 5 places, and this -4 moves right 4 places. So it's the opposite direction. Now, the only way that I can help you figure out which one is horizontal and which one is vertical, and I literally just came up with this off the top of my head, I'm thinking that these set of parentheses is kind of like hugging all the pieces together. And so hug starts with an H. And so I'm going to stick with that for horizontal. If you're hugging all of the parts together, that's horizontal. And horizontal is always the opposite. Anytime you're in parentheses, it's the opposite of what you would think. This is a move left. This is a move right. So then we could have some multiple transformations. So this +3, if you want to pause for a second and get this g of x equals x minus 6 in parentheses and then a +3 on the outside. This +3 on the outside means we move up 3. And this -6 means we move right 6. So right 6, up 3. So that would take your original y equals x line, move it up 3 spaces, and then move it right 6 places. So those are all transformations, or just slides, translations. So here we have some dilations. So dilations usually means you change the shape. You make things skinnier or fatter, smaller or bigger, things like that. So first we're going to look at vertical. Vertical, they're not grouped together again. You notice the 3 and the x are by themselves. And when this number is greater than 0 and greater than 1, so it's bigger than 1, we're getting steeper. So when you take a line Here's your y equals x, and you make it steeper, it's getting skinnier, or you're stretching vertical. Imagine stretching vertically, pulling it vertically. So the opposite of that, if you have a fraction here, and it's a fraction that's less than 1, be careful, sometimes they might put 3 over 2 there and trick you. 3 over 2 is bigger than 1. So this is a fraction that's less than 1, so you got flatter. So if you got flatter, that means it's doing this, and you're compressing it vertically. You're compressing it vertically closer to the x-axis. So compressed vertically when you have a fraction, stretched vertically, making it longer, skinnier, closer to the y-axis, stretching it vertically. Now, same thing here. We've got our hugs again. Here, we've hugged these together with parentheses, hugs for horizontal. So we know it's a horizontal. Same rule applies. So this is still getting steeper because it's larger than 1. So steeper. So imagine, here's your original. If it's getting steeper, it's compressing horizontally. Compressed horizontally, meaning it's getting compressed, tighter, steeper. This fraction that's less than 1 is getting flatter, still the same terminology here, but it's being stretched horizontally. So it's kind of like the opposite if you notice here. Steeper is stretched vertically, steeper is compressed horizontally. It's got to be the opposite. I would take close note of these. Pay attention to which ones are fractions and which ones are whole numbers. Pay attention to the hugs, meaning horizontal. These have no parentheses, so there's no hug, so it's vertical. Here, when your number's greater than 1, it's compressing. Here, when it's less than 1, it's flattening it. It's stretching it vertically. Stretching it horizontally. And then finally, we have reflections. Again, you may want to pause and get these notes. When you're reflecting, here we have the negative on the outside, so you're reflecting over the x-axis. And here you have the negative on the inside, so you're reflecting over the y-axis. The x-axis is here. Your y-axis is here. So you're flipping over the x-axis. And this one you'd be flipping over the y-axis this way. I'm not sure the easiest way for you to remember this, but just remember that when the negative is on the outside, you're flipping over the x-axis. When it's on the inside with the set of parentheses, it's flipping over the y-axis. So again, I would go back through, pause, get as many notes as you can on this. And I'm now going to go over a couple of examples from your textbook. I do suggest that you do the launch and go through your examples, but I want to go over a couple of extra ones. So I'm going to pull these up. I'm going to have my notes handy. I suggest you do the same thing. Have your notes handy. Again, this is lesson 4.4. So here we have a slow computer. Here we have these, and they're not grouped together. I don't see a hug. So we have a +3. That means I'm going to move up 3. So it's not grouped with the x. So the result is a vertical up and down. Horizontal would be stretched. So part B, here, this is a translation. How many units? 3 units. And we're going up. Correct. Another extra example. Here we'll probably see some hugs, some parentheses, hugs for horizontal. So notice the x minus 7 is in parentheses. That means it's a horizontal shift. So it is grouped with the x, grouped meaning they have the parentheses. So the result is a horizontal. It's hugged. So the graph means, since it's in parentheses, remember, you would think this is 7 units We get that part. But now, is it left or right? Now, you would think left because it's negative, but it's the opposite because it's in parentheses. So it is right. Here we have multiple transformations. So we have to pay attention to up, down, left, right. We'll have multiples. So let's first talk about the outside. That's a vertical. And then the hugs is a horizontal. So that means we're doing 4 units. So that's inside the parentheses. So that's the opposite. So instead of right, it would be left. And then 10 units, since it's a negative, it's going to be going down. That is 4 left, 10 down. We're doing great. Let's check this one out. Oh, here's a word problem, but it gives you the equation, and it's plus 20, and it's after. So since it's after, it's not hugged with it, so it's a vertical. So here is a translation of 20 units. And since it's on the outside, it's not horizontal, it's vertical, so up and down. So plus 20 goes up. Good job. And now with our dilations, do a couple of those. These are the ones that's a little bit confusing, so you have to watch out, be careful, look back at those notes. You're allowed to use the notes on the homework. So here, these are not grouped together. So the positive is not grouped with the X, so it's vertical because they're not both in the hugs. And this is a vertical compression because it's a fraction or a decimal, 0.65, it's less than 1. So it's vertically compressed or gotten flatter, so it's less steep. Again, this would be like a fraction, or it's a decimal less than 1. It's not grouped, so it's a vertical compression. It got flatter, vertically compressed. And then your other example, extra example of another dilation. I'm guessing these are going to be in hugs. So yes, these are grouped together. So is grouped. So it is a horizontal. So this means that it's got to be either horizontally stretched or horizontally compressed. And since it's steeper with this 8, it's going to be steeper. So that's a horizontal compression. And so the slope is more steep with the 8. Reflections. Again, it determines whether if the negative is on the outside or the inside of the parentheses. So this one is on the outside, so it is not grouped, so it's reflected over the x-axis. This one has already been done. So this one is outside of it. It's reflected over the x-axis. And so finally, here we are reflecting over the y-axis, and we should have the negative on the inside of the parentheses. Yes, so we're on the inside, so it is grouped, so it's going to be reflected over the y-axis. Now, something you can remember, this is a horizontal. Remember, anytime you have something inside the parentheses, it's a horizontal change. So if you flip over the y-axis, imagine flipping over, if this was your y-axis and you're flipping over that y-axis, you're moving horizontally. So that might help you as well. So I hope these helped. I definitely hope that you're going through and looking at all these examples, the other examples with this, and then hopefully this will help you also with your assignment called Transformations of Linear Functions. That's your lesson for 4-4. Good luck. Please, please, please go back and check those notes if you need to, and pause my video again and get all that you can.